The new film, The Assistant, reveals the barriers and, at times, insurmountable challenges in reporting sexual harassment in the workplace. It's timely, as the Me Too movement remains in the headlines, especially in Hollywood. The writer-director Kitty Green and star of the film, Emmy-winning actress Julia Garner, are with me now. Welcome.
Hi.
Now, Kitty, I want to start by talking to you about how this project started. You started working on it actually 3 years ago when the Harvey Weinstein story was breaking at the start of the Me Too movement. So why did you want to make this movie?
I don't know. I was working on another project about consent on college campuses, and the Weinstein revelations the Weinstein story broke. It was all over my phone. My friends were kind of asking questions, and I knew some people that worked at that company. I knew some people that worked for other big kind of movie studios, and so I just started asking people about their experiences, and that's where it came from.
Julie, what was your reaction when you first read the script? What drew you to the role?
Well, I mean, it's different from anything that I've ever played, so that's one, but that's for every role that I do. And just, I've been a fan of Kitty's for a long time. Casting JonBenet is a great film, so it wasn't really a brainer. And then I read the script, and the writing is amazing, and the film is just, it's an important story, and it was the first movie that I read that was about that, so I was intrigued.
Well, your character is Jane, who is an assistant to a high-powered movie producer. How did you prepare for the role? Did you speak with people who had gone through that experience beforehand?
Well, I mean, Kitty spoke with so many assistants and just different people who've been through that experience. But I spoke to one girl. We spoke to one girl who came and who was a friend of yours.
Yeah, we did.
And so I wasn't interviewing. We just hung out for 2 days, and I was asking her a ton of questions. And then, in terms of technically, because I would make the world's worst assistant, I was just, I went to my manager's office and I would videotape, not videotape, I sound like I'm 100 years old. I would film on my iPhone all the assistants at my manager's office. So.
Well, one of the things that you referenced is that, Kitty, you spoke to over 100 people who worked in the industry, including some people who had worked for the Weinstein Company. How did you want to weigh telling this story without exploiting the pain and trauma of people who've experienced that?
It's really touchy. It's really difficult, and we just had to try and be as sensitive as possible and make sure that everyone who participated got to look at the script, and so we had a kind of a nice process going through. But yeah, it is tough. But it's also there's so many people who there's so much trauma. There's people who survived, assault experiences there. So we have to take everyone into consideration when we're making a film like this.
Now, Julia, you said that this is really different from other characters that you've played. And one thing is that your character doesn't say a lot, but I felt like I was constantly trying to read what is going on beneath the surface. I mean, if she had an internal dialogue, what was she saying to herself?
Throughout the day, the theme, I also didn't have an accent in this, so that was a nice break. Because I feel like everything that I've been doing for the last 3 years has an accent. I think throughout the day, she was thinking, God, I hope I don't get fired. Unfortunately. Yeah.
I mean, there's a very affecting scene between you and Matthew McFadyen, who, of course, is from Succession. Yes. And he plays a human resources representative who really stops your character from reporting misconduct. What was filming that scene like for you? Was that really difficult?
It was a really hard scene. One, because how many pages was that scene?
12?
Yeah, it was a 12-page scene.
Wow.
And so it was we did a 13-minute long scene. Yeah, it was hard. So we did it all in one take, and it was really nice because it was like a play almost in that sense. But it was the hardest thing about that scene and about this movie, filming it, was, I start feeling what my characters feel after a while, and it was crazy how small I started feeling, because Jane feels very small and insignificant. And that's what's so awful about it. That, and the thing that's awful about that scene is that he makes her feel stupid, and makes her regret coming up to him and asking him for help, basically.
Yeah, it's a really impactful scene. And I think that it's one of those moments where it's a lot of times we get so much telling of these stories and it really shows that moment. And Kitty, Vulture said that this movie is actually the first great movie about Me Too. Do you hope that there are more films that tackle this topic?
Definitely, yeah. I don't know, the more conversations we can have about how we can change things and how we can get more women to the film industry, the better. So yeah, I'm all for it.
And it's not just, I mean, it is about Me Too, but I just want to make it clear, it's also just about abusive work environments. You know, men, women, whatever it is, it's not okay to treat people like that.
Now, the film is out today. It also made the festival circuit. Have you heard from anyone who's seen the film or who's experienced any behavior like this in their own workplaces?
I actually had a woman, we were at Sundance on the weekend, and I had a woman come up to me who said she worked for a yacht company and had an experience like this.
Wow.
And she said, that was me. And I was like, wow, like how... Yeah, it's pretty amazing that this story is it's not just the film industry, it's everywhere. This kind of like gendered work environments are everywhere, and we need to to change that. So yeah, I'm glad it's affecting people that way.
Absolutely. Well, Julia, I do want to take a minute to talk about your Emmy win from earlier this fall, and we read tweets all day long on this show, so I kind of have to read this one from Reese Witherspoon.
Wait, what?
All people.
Really?
Yes. So she tweeted, "So happy for you, Julia Garner. Your performance in Ozark is outstanding. High praise." What was this? Is this the first time you're seeing this tweet?
I don't have Twitter. Like, I don't read anything on, like, line about myself, so I'm just like, Reese Witherspoon Twitter. I'm like, wait.
Yeah, that totally. What was the moment of that win like for you?
Thank you, Reese Witherspoon. It was crazy. It was so crazy. I remember bits and pieces of that night because I couldn't believe it. And also the fact that Jason Bateman, like, won Best Director, too. We were both looking at each other and we're like, wait, what's going on? Like, who are we?
I mean, season 3 of Ozark, does it get any darker?
Probably, yes, it does, probably, yes.
Okay, well, I also have to ask you about your next project. It's with SHONDA Rhimes. It's her first Netflix series. It's called Inventing Anna, who is about Anna Delvey, who is the con artist who, like, captivated New Yorkers a couple of summers ago. Can I know a little bit about your preparation? Did you get to meet with her or anything like that?
That question's for another time when I come back here. But yeah, it's been very fun.
Okay.
Playing this part, and it's been very challenging. Yes, it's been very fun and challenging. It's definitely a hard part. It's very complex. The accent is crazy. I will give you that because she's from Germany and Russia. So, but yeah, it's been a good process.
It seems like working with SHONDA Rhimes would be
and she's lovely.
Incredible.
Yeah, she's great. So.
Well, listen, really appreciate you both chatting with me. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations
Thank you.
on this film.
Thank you so much.
And check out Julia and Kitty's film, The Assistant, which is in theaters now.